Welcome to the Huddle Sports Network, where we're breaking boundaries and redefining podcasting. Broadcasting live on 6 different platforms, we're bringing you the latest in sports like never before. Imagine tuning into real-time discussions, expert analyses, and fan interactions all at your fingertips. Each platform offers a unique experience, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch. We're not just sharing stories, we're creating a community of passionate sports enthusiasts. Join us as we dive deep into the evolution of podcasting, where every episode is a chance to engage, debate, and celebrate the world of sports. This is where your voice matters and the game never stops. Welcome to the Huddle Sports Network, where we're breaking boundaries and redefining podcasting. Broadcasting live on 6 different platforms, we're bringing you the latest in sports like never before, where sports passion meets podcasting brilliance. I'm Mike, the Bear fan, and alongside Bill, the Packer fan, and our buddy Ken Catalone, we're bringing you an incredible lineup of 38 diverse podcasters. Each one brings their unique flavor to the table, covering everything from game analysis to behind-the-scenes stories. Imagine diving deep into the minds of experts who live and breathe football, sharing insights that you won't find anywhere else.
Show us here locally in the community. Make sure y'all go check out New Cat Bodies by Jeremy Campbell.
Yes, here we are, almost 24 hours later. We all know the news that came out yesterday. We all know what's done. And had his interview with the New York Jets. So we're more than likely losing both coordinators because I really thought it would be Aaron Glenn gone first. So that was kind of a shock. And I want to address some comments that I saw on some of the other podcasts and things like that and let fans know there couldn't have been a deal in place weeks ago. Good Lord, Moonscar. Yes, it's great to see you all here. Oh, who do I got here? It's Kyle.
What's up, JB?
Not much. How you doing?
I'm doing great. You?
I'm alive and well. I'm glad you found the right one. I know I gave you a couple, but they only lead to one studio or the other. You know what I mean?
Right,
If you hop in,
right.
don't see somebody, it's not the right one.
Right.
We kind of expected we might be losing both coordinators. We just expected it to be Aaron Glenn first. You know
How
what
do
I
you
mean?
feel about Ben Johnson going to Chicago?
It sucks that he went in the division. How's that? I'll leave it
Right.
at that. But you know what?
I'd
I'm
be
happy
wired
for
about it.
I'm happy about him getting a promotion and becoming a head coach.
Right.
But the fact it's for Chicago, it's like a big fuck you to Detroit.
It is.
Do you agree with that assessment?
Oh, for sure. I honestly think, man, it was a big FU after the playoff game to go sign with them.
Good afternoon to everyone except Ben Johnson. Go suck it.
Yeah.
Love you, Fred. So I'm looking through and I want to see. So the top 5 internal candidates are Scotty Montgomery, Tanger Engstrom. Hey, look at that. The first 2 I said, if we lost Ben Johnson, and you were there on that show when I said those 2 names, weren't you, Kyle?
Yes, I was.
They're right at the top of the list. Isn't that crazy? The third one, Hank Fraley, which is something none of us thought about. Keeping the O-line coach here so he doesn't go to Seattle to become their OC. I think that's kind of smart, too.
Right.
Neither one of the other guys are being looked at like that.
Good afternoon, Ken.
Yeah, the fact that Chicago and Monday. Oh, it's Smoking Dad. I gotta cue the music for him and Ricky. So I'm not in here shit talking other people unless they shit talk me. You know how I am.
Yep.
I've always been that way. If you direct it at me and my team, I direct it back at your team, not you. That's the way I
Right.
am.
Right. Now the off season, huh,
Oh,
JB?
I know. Yep, the off season begins. All four of us North playoff teams were frauds. How's that?
Yeah, 100%.
All 3 of us. All 3 of us. The only
Yep.
undefeated team this team here is Chicago, and they get Ben Johnson.
Yep.
Fuck, that's a
Yeah.
win-win. They're 2-0, and
I
we're 0-1.
I feel ya. I think we're down the same boat and trying to get 3 new coaches, and
I think Jeff Hapley's still with you. I think Robert Salah will get a
I
DC job
I
somewhere.
I don't know, man. From what I'm hearing is Halfley was really interested in that Jets offering head coaching job.
Yeah, but right now they've already given a second interview for Glenn, and it depends on what happens tomorrow with the Saints interview. Because I've
Really,
heard that they're very high on Aaron Glenn.
I think we're looking at an offensive coordinator too.
Yeah, offensive coordinator, I see, because your offensive coordinator just went to
St-
the other head
St-
coaching spot. Was it
yeah, Stenovich.
Jacksonville is where he interviewed, right?
Stenovich, yeah.
Yeah, he went to Jacksonville for an interview, right?
Yep. Yeah, I just think LaFleur needs to go pick his own OC and give over play
Hey,
calling
hey,
to the
Moonstar, you're right.
OC. I think that was a lot of our struggles, though, to be honest with you.
I'll tell you, Salah Salah as our DC would not be bad because he runs a 4-2-5 defense too. We saw it work with them with the Jets. Even better than that defense was better until it fell apart than the Lions
Right.
defense was every year. And nobody can deny that. The Jets defense was good. The offense was shit because he's a defensive coach and he had bad coordinators. Do you agree with that assessment?
I agree. Uh, I do think Salah ends up going back to the Niners, though. I think he has a big opportunity to go back there and be what he was before, because he was a very good defensive coordinator there before. And I think they're doing a second interview with him, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm. So
That'd be
he's
a
got
nice that'd be a nice fit for them, I think. Now that they let theirs go.
okay, Ricky Scott. I'm going to go ahead and be that guy. I'm not mad at Ben Johnson for taking the job. I trust the process and truly don't believe we miss a step. How about Salah to the DC? Yeah, yeah, and I mentioned that. I think it would be a good fit. I think it would, but you know what? I really think that we're going to pick 2 of our guys inside and bring in assistants from outside. Is what we're going to do because everybody says, "Oh, but Aaron Glenn's going to take everybody with him." No,
That's not the case.
everybody was handpicked by Dan Campbell because everybody that Aaron Glenn picked in year 1 got fired.
Right.
He forgets this. Mark DeLeon, the linebackers coach, came out that he had child porn on his computer and went to jail. Remember this?
Yeah.
Okay, so he gets fired and Dan picks up Kelvin Shepard. We've had Tanner Engstrom here. We hired him because he was an assistant with the Miamis to Tanner Engstrom when he was the passing game coordinator and tight ends coach. I don't think we're
Yeah.
getting big names, Ricky. I think he's on our roster. I think Kelvin Shepard. I think Kelvin Shepard will be the guy to replace AG. I'm 99% sure, Brent, that AG's gone. He's not coming back.
Now let me ask you, JB. After I didn't get a chance to jump on the last show since you lost. How do you think Jaden Daniels played?
He was amazing. I'm not taking anything
I'm
from him.
telling you right now, JB. If you watched how his quarterback mechanics already,
Yeah, I know.
who does that remind you of? Watching him look downfield and make plays that aren't there. It's a lot like Mahomes.
Yeah, I mean it is similar, but it's not the same either.
No, no,
He's
and
not quite as
I'll tell you,
accurate.
for a small quarterback, man, he got an arm. Oh, he got a nice arm.
Uh, I don't think anybody in the North wins more than maybe 12 games this next season because everybody's going to be better.
Right. Well,
I think
NFC
I
North's
think we're
got a
going to see a
tough. They
lot.
got tough. Us North fans have a tough schedule next year.
All of us do.
Yep.
Thank God for the first time in 5 years, Dallas comes to Detroit.
Right.
So that's a plus.
Hmm. Yeah, we got Joe Burrow coming into Green Bay. I think we got Lamar coming into Green Bay.
We go to both of those.
Yep.
So you guys get them at home, we get them on the road. Because two teams get them on the road, two teams get them on home. That's how these schedules break down when you're playing the division matchup.
Right.
So, and then we play the NFC East, which has the Commanders and Eagles in it, which are good teams, and the Cowboys,
Yeah.
which
Yep.
they're missing a coach and a quarterback, but that's beside the point.
Right.
Oh, did I say quarterback out loud? I'm sorry. They signed Dak, didn't they? Aw, they got a quarterback. Come on, it is kind of funny.
Right.
So,
Man, it's just
so in about 4 weeks, you know what's going to start up again, and it's not going to be the Lions, the Packers, and the Vikings starting their shit. You know what it's going to be? Them
Chicago.
boys. Them boys.
Yeah.
This is our year.
Yep. Well, you also got the Chicago Bear fans that think Caleb's on this high pedestal.
Well, Caleb did have a good year.
Yep. Well, I would say decent.
It was a good year for a rookie. It was a
Yeah.
good year for a rookie compared to a lot of rookie quarterbacks we've seen just in the past 5 years.
Yeah.
You
I
say
mean,
the
this.
Lions should have bricked, but you know what? We averaged 33 points. We scored 31. Our defense couldn't stop a cold, especially after Amik Robertson. And people can say that wasn't the thing, but it was the second play of the second drive. 9 plays on defense. He damn near breaks his arm, and he goes out for the game. And the defense went to shit after that. Guess what? We held them scoreless to that point. That was the
Right.
whole first quarter. They didn't score. So you guys can all say that I'm wrong, but 45 points is the problem.
Right.
And only 6 points of that was due to the pick six. So that was the defense not stopping a wet dream.
Right. Yeah, man. And Goff got to take care of that ball.
But at the same time, we've overcame that before because the defense played well.
Right. It just happened to be in a playoff game.
So it happened to be in a playoff game. So it's the only game on. So everybody in America watched the failure. But
Right.
what everybody's failing to realize, that was just a bigger magnitude version of the Tampa Bay game, is exactly what
Right.
it was. We failed to execute on both sides in the red zone, which ultimately led to a loss.
Right.
Yeah,
What? Go ahead.
we gave up 28 points in the second quarter, and we only scored 10. You can't
Yep.
win like that. You can't win like that.
No. Yeah,
It,
you
it,
can't. You can't. But
and
it's
we
kind of
also had
like us. It's kind of like us. You can only win with rookies and young receivers for so long until it runs out. Until they start dropping balls, they don't know where their feet are.
Arasimi, you're right. Because guess what? The better teams are still in the playoffs. I don't sugarcoat shit. I don't do any of that. We shit the bed.
Yeah.
We shit the
It
bed.
it happens.
Tell Ben Johnson I want all the smoke, Neil says. I love you, Neil. That's Bandit there. Go Buckeye. Congratulations, Buckeyes. You held off the comeback.
I'm a Packer fan, buddy.
Yep, Hutchins Adaria. Yeah, he's a Packer fan. You can see the love jersey in the picture.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't say Goff's elite. I say Goff is on the cusp of being elite. He puts up elite numbers because he has a great team around him. Do you disagree with that?
I agree. I think Goff can in some games show he's elite, and then some games he doesn't show he's elite.
That's his first interview with Dallas because Dallas still had a coach last week when all the interviews was going on.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting offseason, I think.
It is going to be. And everybody asks, what do we need with Detroit? I don't think there's much. Everybody said they're coming back. Taylor Decker says they're coming back. Frank Ragnell says they're coming back. So we don't have to worry about that this year, right? We can get
Right.
somebody. We can get somebody in the mid rounds to train behind them. But I think we already did. We got that big guy. Do I think no? Because the O line's bad. If the O line was better, Goff would do better there because they have better weapons. Let's be real, Eric. I think the Dolphins are 2 years behind in their rebuild. They did it ass backwards. They went quarterback before they went O line. Do you disagree with that, Kyle?
Not at all, really.
I mean,
I
because
think Miami. I think Miami's got a lot of talent on that offense. I do like Jalen Waddle a lot. I think he's very good. I think Tyreek's on his way out, but they do got A Chain, and I think he's a really good running back.
yeah, A-Shane's a great running back. So's everybody else they got. Their whole thing is everything speed. They don't have any
Right.
power in the running back room. They have no offset.
Mm-hmm.
So when you don't have that speed offset, they got to find a power back. Who they should have took was the guy that was right there, and they decided to go. What was it? A defensive lineman in the second round, I think it was, and they could have had that Audric Esteem before the Broncos got him.
Right.
Look at the power Audric Esteem has. He's not fast, but man, does he just bowl people over. I think
Uh huh.
him to go with the speed of Mouster, A. Shane, and everybody, and Jeff Wilson that they got back there.
Right.
Holy shit, that'd have been a different team. But at the
Right.
same time, they still should have went the best guard or the best center available.
Right.
I'm not saying it's that bad, but it's not great in pass protection. You guys are good in run blocking. You heard Odell Beckham Jr. wants to play in Green Bay. I don't think he's any better than everybody that's on their roster.
I
I
I
don't I
100% agree with you, JB.
I
I
don't think
think he,
that
I think he's
improves their wide
old.
receiver room.
I think
He's
he's old, and I don't think he's got the speed he used to. And he can't stay on the field. We got enough of those players who can't stay on the field. I don't need another one.
I feel you, Eric. I you know, but it is what it is. A lot of these teams, including all three of these first round exits by the North teams, we have some questions to answer and fix. We're not perfect, but when when 11 wins puts your third place team in the playoffs, the division's pretty damn good. It isn't perfect.
All right, hey JB, I want to ask you a question. This is away from the North for a second, okay? We talked about this. Well, a guy came in and talked about this yesterday about Lamar Jackson.
Hmm.
He was telling me that he's a Ravens fan, all right,
Hmm.
and he was telling me that Lamar is overrated and cannot win playoff games because it's too cold for him. Do you believe this?
He has not won a single game in his NFL career.
If
Less
you
than
watch, he was saying
less
if you
than
watch tape on Lamar in winter games in the playoffs, he chokes all the time and coughs the ball up all the time. Do you agree with this?
no, yeah, he does seem to choke when it's cold out,
Yep.
and only in the playoffs. He plays good in the regular season, but that's in late
Because it's
December,
in
early
fall. Yeah,
January.
it's in
Late December,
fall.
early January, and those super cold temperatures haven't hit yet. As soon as it
Right.
gets mid-January and the playoffs are going, he might win a game, and then all of a sudden he falls apart in the super cold game. He fell apart against the Bills. He's fallen apart against the Chiefs. He fell apart against the Bengals. That's
Yep.
three teams he's fell apart against. All
Right.
very good teams on the same level as the team he's on. Barroom Network, that's fine. He's not a member of the show. I can't tell him that physically, but every now and then he gets in.
I'm gonna answer this guy. I'm rooting for Washington. I
I'm
just
rooting for Washington too, just because I
yeah.
can't stand Philly and the fans. I love
I
I love
uh huh.
certain fans from Philly. They're friends of mine, and I will not
Yep.
ever doubt those guys, because they're a part. Let me say it correctly. Every team has about 10 to 20% of their fan base that's absolute dog shit, including the one you
Yep.
root for. There's
Yep.
no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's bullshit fans everywhere
Yep.
where they're absolutely awful. Yeah, you did. I didn't want to see it,
at
and
least
I'll
JB,
admit it.
at least JB admits it.
I know. No problem, Barroom Network. Uh, but I will say, I think the whole NFC North gets better next year. I don't think
I-
anybody has a major fall off, and I don't think I think the only one that has a major come out. That's what I think too, Barroom Network. Exactly. I think it's either going to be Tanner Engstrom or it's going to be Scotty Montgomery. I've been sitting on that ever since the interview started. Kyle's been here when I said it.
yep.
I think those two, and I said if Ben Johnson leaves, and he did, that was it. You guys would want to see a rookie QB win the Super Bowl after without paying their dues? Anybody but the
I would.
Chiefs.
I would
Anybody but
because
the Chiefs.
I I like the I just for some reason I like what Washington's doing. I like their coaching staff. I do. I think they have a really good coaching staff. Do you agree, JB?
Who?
Washington.
Oh, Washington has a great coaching staff, but I have the
Yeah.
feeling as soon as they're out of the playoffs, they're losing Cliff Kingsbury, and I think that's a mistake by Cliff Kingsbury. He should
But
stay as off.
I think they got Dan Quinn, right?
Yep. But
I think Dan Quinn's underrated.
Dan Quinn is a great defensive coach. Don't get it wrong, but he's always needed a strong offensive coordinator. Do you know why he
Y-
lost that Super Bowl? His offensive
Yeah.
coordinator was Kyle Shanahan, who, as the
Yep.
head coach, coaches the San Francisco 49ers still the exact same way. He coached the Atlanta Falcons in that team as offensive coordinator. Get a
I
lead in
agree.
the first half, go away from the run and do nothing.
I agree.
And I want to address this before I get any further. We were 10 points behind with 13 minutes left in the game. Do you run the ball?
No,
Because
in
the
my opinion.
last touchdown we scored at the 7-minute mark in the third quarter was a rushing down.
Right.
More than likely, bear down, Mike.
I get.
Until
I
I
guess
hear
it
it,
depends.
Steve, until I hear it out of Max Crosby's mouth that he wants to leave the Raiders, I don't believe any of those rumors. Because we've seen those rumors for a year and a half, and he's gone nowhere. He said, I'm staying right here.
I would love to see him in Green Bay. I think to get him anywhere around Green Bay is we're gonna have to sign Devontae and Jacob, so they're gonna both have to recruit the shit out of him.
Right. And the amount of money it'll take, because he has a lot of guaranteed money. You're going to have
Right.
to ask Oakland to eat some of that money to trade him.
Well, here's the only other thing, JB, is the only way we can make this real possible is we send him Jair.
Yeah, yeah. Josh Jacobs is recruiting players to come to Green Bay. Guess who's recruiting players to come to the Lions? It's a Meek Robertson and Pat O'Connor that were former Raiders. Everybody
Right.
that's a former Raider is trying to coax Max Crosby to want out of there. But you know who hasn't said he wanted out of there yet? Max fucking Crosby. So until
Right.
he says it, players can say
Right.
what they want. That's what I'm getting at.
Right.
Until it comes out of Max Crosby's mouth or Mark
Right.
Davis's mouth, he's not on the trade block.
Right.
And you're talking about a guy that goes and sits in a cigar bar with the owner and drinks martinis at least once a
Right.
week. That's how close they are.
Right.
We're not talking about your average guy. I know, Fred. I know it was an awful play design. But at the same time, I'm going to give credit where credit's due. It was on target. It was a great defensive play. The receiver was right there where he threw it. Just Mikey Sanders still was too. Let's not sugarcoat it. What about Tom Brady mouth?
Hmm.
I don't think he's going to equal as much pull as everybody thinks. He's only a 10% share owner or 5%, something like that. Is Jordan Love
No,
for real or just streaky? He's streaky
I'm
right
a,
now.
I'm
Do you
gonna tell
agree
you
with that?
this. Well, I this year he was streaky, but I believe Love was going through a sophomore slump. A lot of
But
quarterbacks do.
yeah, but at the same time, he was streaky the first year too. So he's inconsistent still. Until he gets consistent, you
Yeah,
can't think he's going to be consistent. That's my thing.
right. But to make it, like I was telling my dad, you need if you want Love to be successful, you got to build pieces around him to make him better. If you don't build around him, he's gonna be exactly what he is now. You you got to put talent around him and give him some linemen so he's not running for his life every game.
Well, the linemen weren't bad. You had injuries. When your
Well,
starters were in,
that too. But I also need a receiver that can hold on to the ball.
well, yeah. I mean, the last 3 games, I believe that was your biggest issue on offense
Yeah.
was holding onto the
I mean,
football.
we had a guy, JB. We had a guy that was trying to catch a ball, didn't know where his feet were on the field. That's a
No,
problem. That's a
everybody
problem.
that happens with a lot of young receivers. And remember, you're
Yeah.
young. You're young.
Yeah.
So that's taught with time. The last thing
Right.
they get is the footwork at sideline. We've
Right.
heard some of the best pros in the game saying, "Wow, I didn't even have my footwork right till year 3, year 4."
Right. No, we need a lot of help around him.
Right. I mean, I think Jordan Morgan was a great pickup, but he didn't stay healthy.
No, well, none of our. Let's be
Zach
honest,
Tom.
JB. And our first and second rounders didn't even play at all this year.
I know. I think your best pick this past draft was Edgerrin Cooper, hands down.
Edgerrin Cooper, yeah, he's nice.
He's a stud. He's a stud.
Yeah, he is.
I give credit where credit's due.
Yeah, he does. And he gives his heart out for the game already. But I think once
Yeah,
our defensive when our
you know what?
defense gets healthy and you can pair him up next to Quay Walker, he'll be better.
I still don't think Bill Belichick gets a job in the NFL. I
No,
think he ends up right at North Carolina because of the way his contract is and what it does for his son. He's trying to set his son up for a future. It's
R-
less about Bill's legacy and more about his son's future than anything. That and his girlfriend might be the captain of the cheerleading squad. She is that
right,
young. She is that young, Kyle. You can't deny it.
right.
And that's a joke. I'm trying to make you laugh, brother. So a couple of these other names that are out there and probably not in contention. Brian Greasy, Deuce Staley, Byron Leftwich, Frank Wright, Josh McDaniels, and Chip Kelly. I don't want any of those guys other than maybe Deuce Staley.
I do agree on Evan Williams and Bullard. I think they both have a lot of potential. And if I'm not mistaken, Evan Williams was a 6th or 7th round draft pick. So in my eyes, that's a steal for him to even be on the field that early.
But we always question plays when they don't work. When the defense makes a great fucking play, and we're all guilty of it, 100%. Yeah, I want the Bills to beat the Chiefs. I just don't know if they will in Arrowhead. If the if the Bills had the number 1 seed, I'd say it's more than likely the Bills to lose. But the fact, but the fact that it's in Arrowhead, I think that's going to be an issue. Do you disagree with that assessment there?
Arrowhead is. Well, let's be honest. When you're playing the Chiefs and the refs and Arrowhead, you're gonna have a hard time. I mean, some of those calls
Okay,
against the Texans game where they hit Mahomes out of bounds, dude, is such BS.
I know.
And he sells the shit out of those calls.
Yeah, that's somebody we didn't think about. What if Dan Campbell brings back Deuce Staley now that his mother's healthy and all that's done, and he doesn't have to worry about that? He was the Browns running back coach last year. He's not being promoted, so he's staying right there as a running back coach. What if we brought him in as the OC and became a run first team, which does help Goff with play action.
Right.
Oh, I know. They're 4-4 together. Eric, I love that comment. Eric has the lowest testosterone in the league after Caleb Williams. Oh,
I just,
who knows? It's soccer than Ted Bly. That's why you can't make this shit
hmm,
up. Yeah, this is funny. But at the same time, he's on the verge of a three-peat. And that's why
right.
I still think the Chiefs get there for some reason. I want the Bills to win so bad. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we're sick of seeing it. Because if he gets there, I don't care what team's on the other side, rookie or whatever, it's a three-peat.
Yep.
Because we saw it. We saw all those hits that weren't called against Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jared Goff. All of them had bad
Yep.
hits against them. Late hits, everything else. And no penalties were called. You run up and you brush Pat Mahomes' chest, and it's roughing the passer 15 yards. Thou shalt not
Yep.
touch the King Mahomes.
And let's not forget he goes flying 10 yards when he's not even touched.
Well, considering we're going to have a new OC, and we're probably going to scrap every single trick play he came up with, because we're going to have to, because he'll know what they look like when you start them. I think it's going to shit on us a little bit, but I don't think it's to be overly concerned about, because Dan Campbell isn't going to let the same exact playbook roll out there in the same exact look, because our playbook changed from last year to this year. I mean, just look
Right.
at it. This year we ran more 12-man personnel than I ever remember, and that's where the tight end's in, with all sorts of motion and everything else, whether it was a trick play or not. We've never done that before. So I think we're going to go back more to what it was like in year 2 with the multiple look offense. Yoli!
Hello, Yoli.
The ref that was chosen in the game may be possibly on the Bills' side a little. That's great. It would be great. Oh, boy.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long off season.
Okay. The thing is that the offense for the Chiefs has been very underwhelming. I haven't seen where if Pat Mahomes gets the MVP, I swear to God, I'm going to go eat a notebook pad of paper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just awful, awful.
Right. Yeah. Imagine if he wins that, the frickin' Super Bowl MVP and the Super Bowl. I think I would throw up.
If AG is hired, you get 2. I think we only get 1 for Ben Johnson. They changed the rule, so you just get more for a minority coordinator that's hired, but you still get something for the other coordinator that's hired. If that makes sense, what I'm saying, isn't that right, Kyle? You just get
I
1 for a regular coordinator, and if they're a minority
I believe
coordinator, you
that
get 2.
I believe that's true.
But that means they don't come in the 2025 draft. You get them in the 2026 draft because it happened this offseason.
Yeah.
Just like you guys
Yeah.
lost your
Year
coordinator.
after.
You guys lost. Do I still do videos with David every now and then, Nick? I do. I was kind of upset that he didn't want to put any of the blame on Goff. You know, you can't sit there and say those 4 turnovers by Goff had no effect on this game, because
Right.
the pick 6 was an awful throw. The rest of them were great defensive plays, and I don't knock him for that. But that pick 6 to that guy. There was no receiver in the area. It was just a wide open spot, nobody within 3 yards, straight to a guy that could run it back. It was an awful throw. So I don't sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
I don't sugarcoat it. I think Goff is a great quarterback and on the borderline of being elite. If he can do with a new coordinator what he's done the past 3 years with the Lions, he's an elite quarterback at that point. Do you disagree with that assessment?
Nope, not at all.
Because that'll be 4 years.
Yep.
Every year we tweaked it just a little bit. Well, now we're going to have to tweak the whole damn thing. And if he has another great year, he's an elite quarterback. Oh, that's funny, area. Joey, good luck this weekend. I know you're an Eagles fan. I don't care. I'm going to tell you good luck. But it's your worst case scenario. You didn't want to face the Commanders, and you will. He said that Friday on the show. He goes, "Guys, please beat him. I don't want to face him again." Has anyone hired
not,
Aaron Glenn?
not
He had
yet.
a second interview yesterday with New York Jets. He has his second interview tomorrow with the Saints, and his first interview scheduled for this weekend with Dallas. But I think he's going to end up with either the Jets or the Saints. That's just my personal opinion. If I remember right, he was drafted by the Jets and he played for years with the Saints, correct?
Yep.
So he has very strong ties and he has a strong coaching tie to the Saints because he was a part of Sean Payton's crew with Dan Campbell down there.
Right. Part of the tree.
Kyle, did you see Saquon Barkley take it to the house, 70 yards in the snow game?
I'm gonna say this right now so everyone can hear. I don't care who y'all can say anybody who's the best back in the league, but I'm taking Barkley every day, every Tuesday, every Sunday, every Monday. I don't care. Barkley
I,
to me is the hands down best
pure,
back in the league.
pure running back, I agree. Saquon Barkley is the best pure
He
running
can
back
do
in
it
the league.
all that a lot of running backs can't do. He can when he catches the ball in the backfield, he'll get it for 30, 40 yards sometimes. He's just he's hard to tackle.
Well, Nick, I'm going to say this. For me, everybody says the first one is Scotty Montgomery because he came in this year to be the running back coach and got the assistant head coach position. But the guy that's been here for 3 years with this offense and learned quite a bit and might have his own playbook already is Tanner Engstrom, the passing game coordinator. Because the passing game has changed dramatically over the past 3 years. Each year it's added nuances and players and different things. And I think that has to do with Tanner's input. What if he has a playbook ready for us? What if he's ready to go? And I think I give him a slight leg up because of linked with the team and familiarity with all the people, all pieces on the team. So I think Tanner Ingram is the first choice and Scotty Montgomery is second. That's just my personal opinion.
Right.
But that's not to say we don't hire somebody from outside either.
Right. Yeah, you never know.
You know what's funny is everybody says Mike Vrabel is going to hire Josh McDaniels. If that's the case, why didn't he hire him for Tennessee when he was a free agent?
Yeah, good question.
I don't think he brings in Josh McDaniels. Jeremy B for offensive coordinator. I love it. Nick
That's
Foles,
great.
Jared Goff. Um,
As
you know what?
as long as you get a ring out of it, who
Two
cares?
of our worst ranked offensive players this past week was offensive linemen. Two of our best players were offensive linemen. I think it's this year coming up. This year coming up is the end of the Super Bowl window with the team as we know it. It has to do with how the Jared Goff contract is, because I don't sugarcoat shit. I give my opinion exactly how I read it. We lowered his cap hit last year from 32 to 27. His cap hit this year out of that 55 million average per year is 32. Next year, it saves money to get rid of him if we don't get the Super Bowl. because of $69 million. And I'm saying this year right here, the
Right.
25-26 season, he's the quarterback. Hendon Hooker will not see the field as a starter. He's still learning. He's still
No.
developing. I have the feeling that Mark Brunell, our assistant, will be gone. Oh, the combination of Monty and Gibbs is great over Barkley. So if we don't get the Super Bowl this year, and this is just my opinion, and you guys can take it with a grain of salt and hate me for it, because the cap clears to get rid of Goff next year. If we don't, he won't be a Lion if we don't win the
Right.
Super Bowl. Because
Right.
the goal was to get there this past season, and we didn't even get there. And he had the worst game in the first playoff game on the road to get there. So getting the number 1 seed shouldn't be the goal from here on out. Congratulations, you got a coach. It still doesn't mean you have an O-line. It still doesn't mean you're going to not have Caleb Williams get sacked 70 times in a season.
Let's make it 75.
But until I see that O-line protect Caleb Williams, good luck. And I'll leave it at that.
Yep.
That's not shit talking. That's being realistic with football expectations. Everybody,
JB, is that coffee in that
yes, sir,
mug?
100%.
Yeah.
I start my day with 2 cups of these are triple ventis.
JB and his coffee for the show.
Gibbs was on a heater, but at the same time, we were over.
Yes, I did, Bill.
Same,
Barkley in wintertime is another Barkley.
right?
I mean, we've seen that since he came into the league. When it don't matter what type of temperature it is, Barkley don't care. It don't bother
Is,
him. I even think he runs harder in winter
is it
games.
okay, Kevin? I'm going to say this: is it big on Brad Holmes to get us a pass rush, or is it more about having our guys stay healthy so our pass rush doesn't disappear? Hmm.
I eat kitties for
No,
breakfast.
what team are you? Choke throat kitties frauds. What team do you follow? You come in here and talking that, but I don't even know what team you follow. Because if it isn't the Commanders, the Bills, or Tampa Bay, I don't care. We didn't play you. And if we did, we'd probably beat you. I don't think it's the edge rusher we need. We still got Kevin Zadarius Smith under contract for another season. Oh, I didn't say it's bottom barrel, bro. I'm just saying that O-line has to improve dramatically. You can't allow 70 sacks in a season and expect a big jump, broski. That's where I'm at. I mean, the
Right.
worst year for Goff here, he had 29 sacks against them. And that was year 1.
Uh-huh.
I think in the first round late because of where we're picking. We are picking late still. Think about it. We're in the divisional one. Oh, I'm not saying your team's bottom barrel.
No.
Congratulations to the Bears. You got your head coach. It sounds like you got your DC. Oh, you mean the only team that has quarterback that Goff has beat 4 times in his career? Gotcha.
Who's that?
He's a Chiefs fan. Yeah.
Chiefs? Oh boy.
Mahomes only quarterback with a team, whether college or pro, that's undefeated against him is Jared Goff. He beat you with the Rams, he beat you with the Lions, and he beat you twice when he was with Cal. You
Some
know,
of these comments, man, are hilarious.
I know they are. What's funny is the Chiefs were so scared about playing the Lions with the first place schedule that they didn't play them this year. How crazy is that? I think that's funny. And the only reason why is because Taylor Swift already played her concert in Detroit in June.
Yeah. Well, guess what? She'll never play in Green Bay, so I don't have to worry about that.
Life on the Lake Shore. Yes, sir, Brent DeWitt.
I think very good chance Chiefs lose this
I
weekend.
saw that Dan Campbell went to Kokomo to greet KOC because he's Kokomo KOC right now because he was there a week before we were.
Yeah, they're both they're both on their trip to Cabo.
Yeah. You liked that one, didn't you?
Yeah,
Hey, Kevin, I told you I'd see you in 2 weeks.
yeah. Don't worry, LaFleur's right with them.
Hey, we didn't make the Super Bowl. On to the off season.
Yeah.
No. Congratulations, get there.
Bears look good.
Congratulations, get there. I didn't talk shit about the Chiefs until you did.
See you in 2 weeks.
He got the joke. I love it. I make jokes about my own team. We
Right.
fell apart. We put
Yeah.
up 31 points in an average game. 31 points would beat any team, wouldn't it?
You'd think.
If you had a defense. If you had a defense.
Right. You'd think.
Here's the next season to everybody. Whether you're Lions fans, Packer fans, Bears fans, Vikings fans. Good luck. Good luck. For all of us. You know why?
Yeah.
Because we're all better.
I mean, hopefully we're better.
We will all be better in the long run.
I think we will. I think we bounce back, but there's always a chance you don't.
Right. There's always that chance. You know what? You know what I see for the Bears?
But I also have to think about as a Packer fan watching this year, Love was not healthy half the year, if not longer.
I'd say about 5-6 weeks.
I just heard that he's having off-season surgery.
Kyle, you need to bid on JB sponsors, man. It starts at $200. Oh, comment of the day. I love you guys. I'm glad we have fun here. I'm not a shit talking show. Never have been.
No.
I mean, if you come in and talk shit, you can't say ringless since 34 because the ring ceremony started in 1930. We have 4 championships. 1934-35 season. 51, 52, 54.
Yeah, so learn your
53,
facts.
54, and 56, 57. So we have 4 rings. They also started the trophy ceremony in 1926, the year that the NFL was created. So we have 4 of those trophies. There also was a trophy for the 3rd place team called the Earl Bing Memorial, which the Lions have the most of them in 8. But that went away when the Super Bowl started. Since the Super Bowl, it is what it is. We've been rebuilding since William Clay Ford took over as sole owner of the team since 1963. And we have not had success other than getting to the NFC Championship last year. This year we went 0-1.
Yep.
It is what it is. Guess what? Time to move on. Next season is the goal now because we lost.
Yep.
So 4 rings, a total of 12 trophies, but only 4 are championships. And I know my history. I don't sugarcoat it. And my dad was alive for 3 of those. So was my mom. So was my uncle. So was not my youngest aunt. She was only alive for 2. Do I feel betrayed? A little bit, but I'm not upset about it because he got his promotion. Um, it is what it is, Sarah. I'm not being bitter like everybody else. I do feel it's a little bit
No,
of a
you got to move on.
it's a little bit of a stab in the back to the Lions organization, and I said that, but it is what it is. Bears fans get game highlights from dial-up internet. Ooh.
Oh, that's a good
Did
one.
Ken get scared to do Ken and Ken in the morning because he didn't want to get fucking shit? No, I don't know. Hey, Donna, let's at least make it to a Super Bowl sometimes. Hey, broski, I, I said how I feel about it. That's our goal. We don't get there, I think Goff is gone in 2026-27 season. That's just my opinion. Take it or leave it. I've said that ever since the contract came out. I haven't stuttered. I haven't wavered, and I'm not gonna. Hey, Kevin, it's still a choke job. We won with those backups in place in the regular season. So the coaching job this past week, it wasn't good. That's all I got to say. The coaching job with those ragtag guys ever since week 7, it's been great.
It's been great.
We won 9 out of 11 games with those guys. It is what it is. Yes, Belinda Brown, you're right. Free agency and draft is very important for all of the teams in the NFC North.
Yep.
Yeah, I haven't been hurt at all because I know my history. I've been a fan since I was 5 years old. I'm 54. I've seen it all. I've been through 0-16. I didn't wear a bag on my head. I didn't walk away from my team. I didn't cheer for another team.
Wait, you're telling me you never wore a bag over your head,
Not once,
JB?
nor will I.
Come on, you had to cut the eyes out
Nope.
one time. I'm kidding. Oh man.
Oh, Broski, now that's a troll I don't agree with. Jim Jackson, agree, JB. Goff is still a good QB, but that game did not help his game. Next season will determine his future. You're right. I kind of feel bad for our Lions Saturday night. Look how many people layer on the field with either injury or cramps and hard hits. Yep. Amazingly, I'm not pissed anymore. More pissed with San Francisco playoff loss. Exactly. That's the one I was more upset about because we had a chance to win that game. We only had a chance in the first quarter versus Washington. And that's the way I felt. As soon as I watched that second quarter unfurl, I was like, oh God, we're screwed. We're screwed. You can't have a defense. Yes, the key to our success is Dan Campbell, 100%. And the O line, which for the most part will be intact. You know who our best rated offensive lineman? Oh, broski. Come on now. Let's not do the personal attacks. Let's just have a fun time talking football.
Yeah, come on, man.
Same with you, Don. I don't want to go with the personal attacks. I like having talking football. Congratulations. You had a rookie QB throw for 3,497 or 47 or 547, whatever it was, but you still haven't had a 4,000-yard quarterback.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to talk to the whole team about friendly fire. We had 5 guys go out from the season from friendly fire.
Yes, I watched the press conference of Dan Campbell
Oh, he
crying.
started crying on the sideline.
Yeah,
Before the game was even over, he was crying.
I gotta give it to him though. It's emotional coach, man. That does want it all.
And that's why the players play through him. People can clown him and say he's weak and blah blah blah, that and all the other. But there's a reason why this team runs through a wall for him. Oh, it is time for me to talk about that sponsor that everybody loves so much.
Let's
All
see it. There
right,
we
it
go.
is Brandon Service right at the corner of South Grand Traverse and West Atherton Road, 602 West Atherton Road. In Flint, where the water's shit, but the tires are good. Stop in and check us out. Used tires starting at $45 and up. New tires are delivered within 1 to 2 business days. Call 810-233-8230. Talk to George or Red to get your quote. If you mention this ad for a new set of tires, $25 off for you. If you mention this ad and you're getting a set of used tires, you get $10 off your set for you. All prices include tax and labor. Van is not for sale.
Damn. God, JB, I was hoping you'd say it was.
Who is the better coach, LaFleur or KOC? I think it's a toss up right now. For as short as Kyle's been in this division, he's done well. Which team you
Yeah.
got about there, Belinda? Because we have almost 20 million of cap that rolls over to next season, and we were projected to have, I think, just under 60 or just over 60, which means we could have upwards of close to $90 million when it's all said and done. And then the cap goes up. They haven't announced what the cap number will be for next year yet, because the final numbers are not in from all of the online contracts and all that they added, namely Netflix. And
Right.
I think it's going to be huge. I think that number's going to go. I think we're going to go up 20 to 30 million again next year.
Yeah. Which would be nice. Not for us that want to go to games, but it'll be nice for the team.
I love the back and forth helping me get through the 4th step of the grieving process. Yeah, we're starting the year with 60 million, but we get to roll over the 24 million we have this year, which makes it 84 million. The Commanders don't get to have much left to roll over because they spent pretty much all their cap this year. I think they only had like 8 million left. And if it goes up 30 million, that means we're going to have 100 million to play with. And that should be scary.
Yep.
That should be scary.
Yeah, we should too.
Scary for all the teams that thought that the Lions were just going to fall right off. Broski, I'm not even
He's trolling.
Broski. I
He's
I know you're trolling, and I love you, but I'll disagree with you.
he's
I know he's
trolling.
trolling hard. It was a bad game. What can I say? Everybody's entitled to a bad game every now and then. We just picked the worst time to have one.
Yeah.
How's that? Packers picked the worst time to
Yeah.
have one versus the Eagles. Vikings
Yep.
didn't show up 2 weeks in a row. They only scored 9 points in their games. Week 18 in
Yep.
the playoffs. Losing going into the playoffs is not a good thing. In that bye week,
You know what? You know what people aren't talking about, JB? Jefferson's stats in the playoffs.
oh yeah,
Yeah, nobody wants to talk about Jefferson's stats in the playoffs, man. What do you have? 48 yards receiving?
PC, I love you. I raised my own cap space in a hamster when on strike. Yeah, all our teams will have cap space. That's what I'm saying. So all these teams have the chance to improve greatly. So let's see what happens. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. And try every day to be a better person than you were the day before, because that's the only way to make the world a better place. It starts right here. Much love. Kyle, thanks for being on. And,
Thanks for having me, as always,
and have a
JB.
great day, everybody.